Hello and welcome to Chez Zasaa. Yes, we're having a Zaza zooms in, stroke Zaza unzipped, stroke Zaza everything today. I've got a very special guest. Can't wait for you to meet her. Hello and welcome to Chez Zasaa.
Hello and welcome to Hangout Cafe.
This is Chez Zasaa meets Hangout Cafe.
Yay!
You have to say the opposite. This is Hangout Cafe.
Okay.
Go on.
This is Hangout Cafe meets Chez Zasaa.
So you know what? I'm sure you guys know that on Chez Zasaa, I have conversations. We talk about things that are a little bit controversial sometimes. We talk about anything and everything, and I talk about it with a friend. So my friend today is Funke. Now on Hangout Cafe, what do you do?
On Hangout Cafe, we tell stories, we have conversations, we try to educate you, try to make people aware about issues that they should be talking about, but they don't.
Okay, so
I've got the perfect guest here. Oh my god, I'm actually a bit worried. I hope
yes, this could get a bit out of hand.
Yeah.
No, I'll behave.
Please do.
We can always edit.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so how should we start? We don't know how this is going to work. We're literally just going to have a conversation. She might interview me like she does on Hangout Cafe, but I'm going to have a conversation with her like I do on Chez Zasaa, and we'll just see where it goes. But hopefully you'll have fun. So how are we going to do this?
The first thing that comes to mind is, how come you have so much capacity?
Oh, for goodness sake, this was not one of the things we were supposed to talk about.
So, answer the question.
How come I have so much capacity? I don't know if I can answer that question. And you know, it's always funny because when you have capacity, you don't necessarily see it as capacity. You know, it's like talent. So, you know, you're very good at something and everybody else can see it and you don't see it. I know I have capacity because I know people keep it. The first person that used that word on me was Wonu.
Okay.
Never, she was like, you have capacity. I was like, what does that mean? You know, so I didn't really get it. But so over the years, I've kind of realized that but it is the grace of God now. I mean, I can't take any credit for it. Because even that WhatsApp status thing, you know, like, it's like,
yes.
Everybody's like, how'd you do it? I feel like I should say,
well that she knows you and she's taking a picture with you. Trust me, you have her picture on her. On your birthday, she'll post your picture on her.
If I know your birthday.
If she knows your birthday, yes, that's true.
But so I think it's just one of those things that I've been gifted with that I kind of, you know, it's like a head knowledge that I have it. I know because people say it, but I don't really know.
Well, you know what I find fascinating about you is you have 4 kids. 4 kids and a husband. And you're still able to do all these things. I mean, almost everyone that I know that is your friend, you're always available for them.
Yes. But you see, so let me even clear this up here and now, because I have this fight with a lot of my friends. People are always like, oh, you're at every event, you're always there for your friend, you know, exactly what you're saying. And they're like, oh, you like rocking, you love going to parties. And I'm like, I really don't. I really don't. Well, no, but you see, but let me clear it up. Let me explain. So you hit what you said, you hit the nail on the head in what you said. I have friendships and I believe in my friendships and I believe in nurturing my friendships. I believe in friendships.
Yeah.
So if my friend is doing something, I don't care whether I want to be there or not.
Okay.
I will go and support. So most of these things that I go to, I'm there to support. But I don't believe in going to support and then sitting in the corner and being the you know what I mean? What's the point in being there if you're not going to be there? So I commit. Now nobody believes me when I say they're like, you want to be there. But the honest truth.
Okay, that means you must have loads of friends. What's your definition of friendship? Because there's some events that I say you at. I wouldn't necessarily say you're close friends with that person, but you're there.
Yeah, I know. So, but what am I doing there, and how long am I there for, and who am I with? So, you know, there are different things that would, you know what I mean. So, if I'm at a party and I'm there from beginning to end, and I'm involved, that's my friend. Okay. I could, you know, I have because I do, you know. So my definition of friends, and wait, was it with you that we had this conversation? Well, it was here, but it wasn't with you. It was with some. So basically, for me, my friend, there are different categories of friends. Obviously, I don't have a best friend. Okay. I think my last best friend was in primary school, but I have like a group of besties, or you know what I mean, like different, you know, like.
So, but do you have different circles?
Many, and a lot of them don't even cross. They don't even understand. I blame my father because you know my surname is Adelaide, it's peacemaker. I feel like I'm like the center. I feel like I don't have a choice in that. It's not that I'm deliberately doing it, but I find myself often just, you know, in the middle of people that are not speaking to each other. Don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, why am I here? But that's where I always find myself. So I think no. So my friend. So for me, friendship is my people. And I can't explain. I need to go and find a definition of what's like people that I love them dearly. They mean something to me, not something. They mean, you know, they mean a lot to me. And I think once I have established relationship with you, then I'm going to be loyal to you. But you see, the next thing now is loyalty. There's different levels of loyalty.
Yes.
What you think is loyal, I may not, and I know that there's some people that think me turning up at their birthday party is being loyal, whether I would want to or not. And if I know that that is it, I will be there because that's important to you. Yes. Do you understand? So it's trying to work out what works for each friend and then make it. But no, I don't know the answer to your question. I don't know how I have this capacity, but I do. They just gave it to me. Yeah. But it's an interesting, but it's also priority, isn't it, as well? So I make friendship a priority. It's one of the things really that I prioritize, where other people probably don't, and I don't know that they don't. But what I mean is that for me, friendship is important. So I do pay attention to that.
I mean, I'm slightly different. I don't have a lot of friends.
Am I your friend?
I don't know.
You believe this woman? Oh my life! Only my friends come on Chez Zasaa, so you better be going.
But I'm very loyal to my friends. If I call you my friend, I'm loyal to you. In fact, I have another friend that says that people always know when you like someone. Well, it's true. If you're my friend, I don't hide it. Do you understand?
But why would you hide friends? I don't understand that.
No, I know. I know some people that don't. Because their friends don't.
So they won't put them together.
Yes, because they don't have mutual friends or something like that. So it's like, this one should not know, especially if the other person is quarreling with that. You know, that kind of nonsense thing that we shouldn't be doing as adults. But yeah,
so many things we shouldn't be doing as adults. In fact, that brings me to a conversation that we want to have. But anyway, yes. So sorry, continue. Have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. But since we're talking about friendship, we had this conversation about betrayal the other day.
Yes. So I'm going to give an example, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if you're my friend, and something happens. Mm-hmm. So what happened? I'm going to give it. Something happened to me where I did something which a friend of mine sent me a message and said, "Why would you do that when you know that he didn't want you to do that?"
Yeah.
So first of all, I corrected everything, but my issue here was that as my friend, you should know that if I did that, something must be wrong.
Yeah.
You should have called me and said, "Come, Tinuke, did you mean to do that?" Or "Tinuke, did you know he didn't want that?" Or "Tinuke, something like that." Rather than just attack me like, "I cannot believe you would do that when you know that." So I was annoyed with him, with both of them, for actually thinking that I would do that when they, you know what I mean? So it became a whole thing. And he was like, "Hey, you betrayed me." I was like, anyway, yes. So I think that there's a level of, and that's why I said betrayal, loyalty, there's different, so for example, if I happen to tell you now something, am I betraying somebody else by telling you the thing if the person hasn't told me in confidence? So let's say, for example, me and Funola had a conversation and she said that she thought that the girls in your group were a bit, I don't know, rude.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And she just said it in passing. We're talking about rude girls, and she says, "Oh, well, she thinks," and I come and say to you that actually, Funola thinks that some of the girls in your group are rude. Am I betraying her?
I don't think so.
You see, if she had said to me, don't say,
yes,
this is my opinion, is that, but Funke is a bit killing. So I think there's levels like that, and I guess you have to know your friends. Now, in that particular example that I gave you, I probably wouldn't say that because I probably wouldn't come back to you with that because I would probably think that you would find it quite offensive.
Yeah.
So even if I came back to it, it wouldn't be Fulola said, or it wouldn't be. But I just feel like there's certain people that feel like it's almost like, do I need to have a padlock when I'm with you? Because I don't know what. Do you understand what I mean? Not that I would actively go and take whatever you're saying to someone else, but if we're having a conversation about something and it comes out, I'm saying, "Oh, and you know what? Funke mentioned that something," so, and I won't think of that as betrayal, but I know that there's some people that would. Yeah. So it's almost, maybe you need to know the individuals to know whether.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of betrayals that people are accused of. I don't even think it's betrayal. And then I now think, okay, when I think betrayal, I think Jesus and Judas. So when you're using betrayal,
that one,
do you know what I mean? When you're using betrayal, I'm feeling like this is a very strong word, and I'm not sure that I agree. But I understand what they're saying is that they feel completely violent. I don't know whatever.
Well, I think for me, betrayal is almost like Jesus and Judas, where you feel someone has stabbed you on the back.
Yeah.
And that's something I have experienced before.
But then you see, I guess stabbing in the back is different for each person. Not each people. So what I mean is, what you think is a stab in the back, I might just think is a slap on the face. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
yes,
and I might be okay to
depends.
deal with a
Yes,
slap on the
yes,
face,
yes,
whereas a
yes.
stab in the back, I'm like,
Yes.
okay, you came behind me and you deliberately did something. Whereas you slap my face, I saw it coming, and I'm like, you know what?
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think that, and that's why it's so important to know your friends and know what's important to them, because you can't really say. I mean, I think there's standards betrayals. You know, like standard that everybody knows that you don't do this, you don't do that.
Yes.
But I think in terms of like specific things, it's almost person specific.
I guess you're right. I mean, I guess with most things, yeah.
Because I do find, and
we all see things from different perspectives.
Yes, and I just don't see things the right way most of the time. So I'm always getting in trouble because I don't have, I think I'm just not as, I'm more bigger picture in terms of so I'm thinking, okay, so this happened, but in the bigger picture, it's really not that relevant. But of course, it's relevant to that person.
The person
it's not that I'm saying it's irrelevant, but what I'm saying is that put it in the right context. Yes, you're in pain, and yes, you're everything, but this pain doesn't have to last for 7 years. Or this.
Do you know? In fact, I agree especially because we're Christians. But there's a quote I remember coming across that said, "You cannot hurt me and then tell me how I should."
100%. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I was saying forgiveness takes time. So even if I forgive you, the damage of what you've done
takes time.
It will still take time for me to work through. So I agree with that 100%. But I think some people abuse that. 30 years, we are still waiting for you to know. It's okay. Do you understand what I mean? So I feel like and that's what I mean by I'm very much. But again, I think I have to give this as a grace that I have. It's not, you know what I mean? Because somebody will say something and they would now come at, like somebody came to apologize to me in church the other day for something that I was completely oblivious about. And the sort of thing with me is like, I might be upset in that moment, but 10 minutes later, I'm done. How is this going to benefit me going forward? Do you understand?
I remember when someone said to me, I've forgiven you for whatever. So I was like, what did I do? He said, don't worry, I don't need to tell you, but just, I didn't even know I was.
But you see, that's the thing. I mean, like this guy that came to apologize to me, and he just felt really bad about something he felt he had done, which he had apologized at the time, and I thought that was it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't even something that was worthy of apology, to be fair, but he just felt like, and he apologized, and I was cool. But and this is like a year and a half later, and he comes and he's like, he's really sorry that he should have treated me better. So I appreciate it, and I told him I did, but so something like that. Let's use that example, for example, something like that. I don't know how that has been playing on his mind, how that has affected his relationship with me, because I was completely unaware of it. And I think that what happens is it's that thing where if you let something, so he came to, so hopefully now he has got the freedom, he's okay, like he has come to apologize. But if he hadn't, and had, this thing could have gone on for where he's feeling so bad about something that I don't have a clue about. When you say when you're not forgiving somebody and then the person you haven't forgiven doesn't even look at you.
They don't know. They get over
you are the one suffering. And they are doing life great.
And then every time you see them, this person is getting on with life.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing would be,
I just feel like it's not worth it. In the grand scheme of things, it's not worth it. And I always feel like I'm not saying you can't hurt, and I'm not saying that you can't, be in your hurt for a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have to have that thing where what, okay, it's enough.
Yeah.
Okay, get on with and actually get on with life. Yeah. Because if not,
no, you get to that
and
point.
The devil will use it.
Oh, definitely. Always looking for. I think we're talking about offense too.
Yes.
And then after that, we started seeing posts about offense.
Yeah, everyone. But it's that thing when you talk and Google follows you and then everything.
Yes, you did say so.
Crazy. No, I think offense again.
That's something we should. What was it I said? I said as soon as the thing happens, what you should do is not allow it to take root.
Yes.
As soon as you see it like a weed, you just.
It's almost like you have to separate yourself. I feel, because that's what were you talking? You said something and I said the cause of it is offense. I can't remember what it was you were saying.
It was
something and I said this issue is because of offense. That it's not actually because of anything.
Was it unforgiveness? No, I can't remember what
was it. We have so many conversations. That's why we said Chez Zasaa needs to meet Hangout Café.
We're always talking about different things. We need to talk about that.
Yeah, no, because I think offense is one of those things that you have to make a choice.
Yes, not
that there are many times where somebody is rude. I just say, and I always say, I don't know what's going on in their life.
True.
I always give them the benefit, just give them free way so that I will not be offended. So I pretend as if I'm giving them free way, but really I'm just saving myself from being offended. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? I don't know what's maybe for all I know their father died this morning. For all I know, I have no idea what's going on in their life for them to behave like that. I found it extremely rude, but I'm just going to gloss over it. Now, depending on, like, sometimes if they do it once or twice, I'll pretend I didn't hear that, so that they know I heard it, but I'm not going to do anything. You know what I mean? And then I'll continue. And usually when you say something like that, they're quick to apologize because they know that they were being rude. But I don't think I feel, the standard for us is very different. But I feel like offenses, we have no business.
Yeah, we should, as much as possible. And offenses, the Bible tells us offenses will always come.
That's why I said our standard is different. They will come.
Yeah, they will come.
But everything will come. You see, and you know we always say this thing, yes. Not react, how you to respond.
Respond, yes.
So we don't react, we respond.
And what's the other thing we do? The mentor is stop, think, and respond.
Yes. Because I think the difference between reaction and response is reaction is usually immediate and you don't think about it and it's reflex.
Yes.
So yes, it's genuine and there's nothing wrong with it, but often you might regret it after, especially depending on what you're reacting to.
That's why they say when you're angry, sleep over it.
Yes.
And then wake up the next morning and you've said things.
But don't go to bed angry.
Don't go to,
So I mean, what it is, count to 10, whatever. Just don't, I think there's some, and people always feel like, and I think part of this problem, we're all about this, I don't know what you're talking about, but anyway, I think part of this problem is also because in some cases, and I say this tongue in cheek, people think that, especially if you're in a gathering, I know that you're expecting me to respond, to react. How did you let her get away with that? So, there's also that peer pressure of, I don't want to look like a fool because I didn't say anything. Look like a fool, please, it's better. It's better.
Isn't that what they said? That's why, what's his name? Will Smith.
Yeah,
that's how, because
I didn't get that point.
Yes. I think I saw it. Like he didn't say anything at first, or didn't react. When was it Chris Rock? Yeah, Chris Rock said the thing about his wife, and then when he got back to his seat,
and his wife reacted. No, I think so. I do think you. But you see, I say this, and then I think it depends on how. Are you willing to look stupid? For I am. And I'm quite, I always say it when I'm asking questions, at the risk of looking stupid. I'm quite happy to look stupid and then get it right. But I think generally a lot of people were, and it's so funny because somebody said to me once when I was, he's an influential person, and I remember once, and I talked to him because I talk to anybody. It's not disrespectful, but I'm very honest. And I remember once I was in a meeting with him and some other people, and I didn't say anything. And so he was speaking to me later, and he was like, I expected you to have something to say about that. Why didn't you? I said, because what I had to say, when I looked at the people around and the way I would have said it, I think you would have been offended. You know what I mean? So he was like, oh, okay, thank you. That, because he said, and if you had said it there, I probably wouldn't have been able to defend you because other people would even have attacked you before. So I think sometimes there's wisdom to how you do things, how you respond. So you might look, so if in his case, he was thinking, why is she being so quiet? Why is she behaving as if she doesn't know anything? Luckily, he reached out, but he could have gone away thinking, what a mumu. You know what I mean? But he reached out and then he understood why. But it's God that saved me because I was ready. And I just thought, I looked around and I thought, this is not the right place to come with that, So, yes, I do think there's different, and their offense would have been taken, not only by him, but by the people around on his behalf. You know what I mean? And you just sometimes...
We have to be wise.
Who cares? Who cares? You don't have to prove that you're the most intelligent or the most, I always say that thing, and I think we've had this conversation before. If I have to tell you that I'm intelligent, then I'm probably not intelligent. If I have to tell you that I'm rich, I'm probably not rich.
What's her name? Margaret Thatcher. If you have to say you're a lady, then you're not.
But I think that goes for anything. It goes for anything. If you have to say you're rich, you're probably not rich. If you have to say you're intelligent, you're probably not. Yeah, anything. And I think... a lot of the time, people are busy trying to... I mean, I do it a lot now. I say, look, I hope you know I'm intelligent, but I'm joking. But you know what I mean? I think if you have to say it, and I always say that thing about Christianity, if you have to tell somebody you're Christian, you're probably not a Christian.
It's your behavior.
Yeah, because they might not know it's Christianity, but they should know that there's something. So by the time you have to say it, then...
Nah. Do you know I'm a Christian? No.
Do you know who I am? So, yes, okay. So we don't. We had a list. I don't even know where my list is of things. Did you write?
Yes, I have a list.
What a list of things we were going to discuss because we had so many things.
Let's see, what else?
do this properly. Okay.
So we've got friendship, we've got etiquette.
Etiquette, you know, this is the etiquette woman.
Hi, my name is Oluwadiaga and I'm etiquette coach trainer.
Okay, so wait. Let me just have a look at what I wrote. I put here. Okay, offense. Yes, I put offense.
And we've got a hangout mug. Yay!
Hangout mug, and it says we're in. Does it just say we're in this together?
Yes, we're in this
so
together.
mine says it on the other side.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, etiquette. Please see your lipstick mark on your thing. What's the etiquette?
So the etiquette thing about this is that if you're wearing lipstick and you're going to leave, of course you most likely leave your lipstick mark on the mug. Make sure you stick to one side, so if you can see, it's just on here. So I don't have it all over the place where everybody can see. So it's just one here.
Luckily, my lipstick is very light, so I still. So it is not showing, but it's there.
Yes, it's there. So it's just one side.
Do you know what I did one day?
What?
And it worked. Now I don't know if this is anything, because I had really bright red lipstick on, and I was like, and it was like a glass. So you know, it's like, so I was like, oh. So as I licked, and then I put and it worked. So I guess because it was wet,
Because
it wasn't
wet.
as. So it was just a very tiny. I mean, it still came off, but it just. So that's my etiquette tip. But yes. Okay. So etiquette.
Yeah.
Why do you think etiquette is important? You're always harping on about etiquette.
You see, people say, what is etiquette? In its simplest form, etiquette is about respect and consideration for others.
Okay.
It's also about trying to make others feel comfortable. So sometimes people think that pointing out things to someone is just helping. No, there's a proper place to point out things. So if I invite you for dinner and you're using the wrong cutlery, I won't tell you.
Okay.
Especially if I'm not close to you. Well, if the other people, I won't even tell you. Maybe later on I'll say, Tinike, you know, this is the proper way.
So it's about not embarrassing people.
Not embarrassing people. Not being rude to the rude person. You know.
Okay.
And just show respect, turning up on time.
I was on time now. Why are you doing
No.
this?
This is for our people. Responding to your, what's it called, RSVP. When they say respond to the, are you going to attend? Yes.
Okay, let me ask you. This is a very thing. So, as married women from the African culture,
Yeah.
what is African etiquette different from European etiquette?
No, it shouldn't.
Okay, because I feel like sometimes within our culture, there are things that I just think are blatantly wrong and rude. But because you're like, so for example, if my husband's cousin is in town and just decides that they're turning up at my house to spend the night, and they don't tell me till they arrive. I mean, it's okay if you call, can I come? I'm in town. Is it okay if I stay over? You know, all of that. But they just kind of arrive. I'm coming to see you, and then they don't leave.
That is rude. And I know some people might say, but what do you expect? It is rude. It is. I don't even want to say that African thing. I just think it's simple courtesy. Let us know. I mean, we'll probably, in that your case, they should let you know, and you probably won't have a problem with it. It's just courtesy. I'm going to be, I'm in town. Can I come and stay?
It's definitely an African thing, because my Oyinbo, you know, I have both sides. My Oyinbo side will book a hotel. They will come and say, what's the closest hotel to where you are?
Forget about
and then I will now say,
our people, please forget about booking hotel. That one is even extreme. Just let them call you first. At least tell you they're ready to come. Book hotel where you have, even if
I only said that because she said you don't think it's African. It's African. I'm sorry. I'm standing up for my non-African.
Look, our people, even if you have, say you have 4 children, let's say you have 5 bedrooms in your house. Each child has their own. They don't care.
Yeah, they will share. Or one of them will sleep on
one
the
of them will sleep. Even if you have 2 bedrooms and you have 4 children, they will sleep. Actually, will manage.
But you see, okay, so let's even talk about that, because I wonder, whilst I do agree that it's rude, and I think that just basic courtesy demands that, I wonder if it isn't also because of the culture of, you know, like we're family, we're together, we share everything. You know, when you have grown up in that culture, you kind of, you know how it is. Well, I don't know, but you know, somebody comes to the house, whatever food we have, we're sharing it with everybody. So there's that, we're sharing everything. So I'm sharing yours now.
I understand it, but honestly, seriously, I still think we need to call ahead.
I mean, I agree.
And especially, okay, do you know, I even think it's a different thing when you're here, abroad, or when you're in America. It's different from when you're in Nigeria. Because let me give you an example. In Nigeria, when people come to stay with you, most times you have a house help, someone that will help. So if you just turn up,
you also have more space.
If you just turn up, I haven't prepared the room for you. I'm the one that now has to go running around trying to change the bed sheets and all of that stuff. Where in Nigeria, you can call somebody to go and do that.
Yeah.
But even forget about that. I think it's just simple courtesy.
Okay, so now using that example that I gave, which is not true by the way, but using that example that I gave, would you say then that in that situation, should it be me or my husband that speaks to the person, or how does it, or do we just let it pass, or what?
It's a difficult one, that's the truth. It's a difficult one. If it's your husband's cousin, I think your husband should say something.
Yeah, I tend to think that if it's from his side,
if it's from his side,
and if it's from my side, I should deal with it.
I think if it's from,
Okay. Etiquette is one of those things, but I really wonder, I mean, I hear you, but I really wonder if there isn't an African etiquette.
I don't...
Because I feel
you know why I don't agree with you?
Yeah.
Because if I remember someone saying to me, this is your etiquette thing that you do you know that it's colonial mentality? So I said to the person, I said, etiquette, yes, maybe the English people, what's the word now? They developed it.
Okay.
But etiquette is actually biblical. Respect for others is biblical.
Yeah.
And so it's not an African thing. It's not an English thing. Etiquette is just simply, like I said, respect. If you think respect,
all right.
Situation,
I'm putting you on the spot here now.
Okay, yeah.
So I agree with you. Etiquette is respect. But do you think that maybe there is a difference? Because I feel I certainly have this situation in my multicultural where what is considered rude in my Oyinbo family is not, I mean, what's considered rude in my Nigerian family is not considered rude in my Oyinbo family.
Well, again,
and so they will say I'm disrespectful in the Nigerian family, but I'm not in the English family.
Yes.
So respect can change.
Yes, that's another thing about etiquette. You have to know the culture of the country.
Yeah.
So if you're going to Japan, you know the culture. They don't take off your shoes before you go in. So that's a good thing. Good thing that you brought up. So etiquette is also about understanding the culture of the place that you're going to, which is the same thing as this. There's no African. Well, okay, there's African. Okay, I see what you mean. You can call it African etiquette, but I think it's more of a cultural thing.
Yes. So, for example, if I come and I greet your mother and if I hug, I don't know how funky your mother is. I think she's quite funky. Yeah. But let's just pretend she's quite traditional. And if I hug, I don't nail it down. Do you understand? Some people will consider that to be rude. Yes. If I did that to my Oyinbo side, that's okay. Do you understand?
So I guess it's about understanding the culture.
So the respecting. So I guess maybe then one has to tweak. So going back to my original example. Yeah. Obviously, we're talking about Nigeria. Yeah. They're coming to England with their culture. They think that they can just come and stay with me because that's what they would do in Nigeria.
Yes.
So they have to take into consideration the fact that I'm not in Nigeria. Yeah. And I have to consider the fact that they're coming from Nigeria. And then maybe we find a mutual thing, yeah. Or maybe, I don't know.
So what's the mutual thing?
I don't know, like maybe you can stay one night, love, and then you get a hotel.
That's another thing about etiquette.
Do you know what I mean?
Another thing about etiquette, house guest. If you're going to stay with someone, you have to let them know how long you're going to be staying there for. So I can say, Tinke, please, can I come to stay with you? I'm just going to stay for 3 days. Don't leave it as
that. Never happens. But they will say 3 days, I'll stay 10.
But even if you're going to, at least let people know. Don't just let it know.
I can see you're getting a bit
riled up by I'm like, please.
Yeah. You know. No, it's a very interesting one, and I do think that etiquette, I think for me, I've always tried to put others first. And I think that's basically what it is. Yeah. But I do think that there has to be some sort of understanding, like you said, of where they're coming from. Yes. Because if not, it might not, like you might be insulting them without meaning to, all that sort of stuff. But I don't know how much of the onus of that is. Because I feel like, yes, I should understand the culture, but I also feel that you that is coming from the culture maybe should explain it to me. Okay. Especially if you're expecting something different from me.
Do you know, talking about that, I saw, what's her name? Dario, the Nigerian girl, Nigerian girl. She posted something a few months ago about being a house guest, and she was saying that you if you stay with someone, this is what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Then of course I love to read the comments. Some people say, even some house guests, they can make your, not house guest, host, they can make your life hell, blah blah. So my response to that, you're the one going to stay with them, so you have to obey their rules. Yeah. If it's uncomfortable for you, then leave.
Go and get a hotel.
I mean, when you go into a house, watch how they behave. So if, in fact, let me give you an example. So if you go to stay with someone, just in the living room, watch to see if they have a favorite chair. Seriously.
Yes.
I mean,
instead of sitting in their chair.
Instead of sitting there, and that person is like, oh gosh, that's like, they won't say anything, but that's their favorite chair. But look around. How do they, when they wash up, how do they leave the plate? Where do they leave the plates? Things like that. Yeah. Just be aware.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and he has some guests. Yeah. And he was saying to me, they're leaving because he's very minimalist. You don't see anything. And he was like, but they saw there was nothing there. Like, that's exactly why they put, and there's somewhere it belongs. It's not even as if it has nowhere to go. It has a place it belongs. I was like, you're an old man.
No, but it's true.
But yeah, that's like
it's just being aware. When you go to stay with someone, don't just think, no matter how comfortable the host makes you feel, just be aware that they don't leave their remote control on the table. Or when they do, they put them together.
I always feel like if I'm staying somewhere, it must not affect them.
Yes.
They must not, not that they must not know I'm there. Yes. I mean, I'm there, but I must make it as comfortable for them. Absolutely. Because like I have a friend that I always stay with in Miami, and they're pretty much giving me, but I'm always like, you know what I mean? So he's like, no, it's your home, just do what you like. But I'm like, no, I don't want at any point in time them to say, she shouldn't come back home. I want to go back.
There's a quote that says that by the time you stay with someone for 3 days, you become a pest. It's in my book, by the way.
I better. Yeah. How long did I stay with him? I think it was only 3 days. Better pay attention to that. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of she has a book. And those Hangout Cafe people know, but Chez Zasaa people, she's got a book called, have you got in there yet? It's called Because Manners Matter, and it's all about etiquette.
And it's on Amazon.
Yes, you can get it on Amazon. So you can go and get it there, you can find out what we're talking about. Okay, what next was on our list?
Oh, goodness.
We've already been at this for 33 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
let me ask you, because you dressing.
Yeah.
We had a conversation.
Yeah.
The other day, I think it was Sunday actually, and you were saying, it was because of me. You wore a camisole.
Yes, I didn't want anybody. There's a particular dress I had which is low, and so a little bit of cleavage was showing, and I, etiquette police.
This is not even etiquette police. Why would you show your cleavage? I mean, this is fine. Well, this is fine? Because that day, the dress you had on your camisole, so I didn't see how low the thing was.
To be fair, I don't even think it was that low. I mean, one could pull it lower, but it wasn't. But so what's your question?
Well, the question is, why are we showing off so much of
So you see,
it's not. I mean, you're decent to a certain degree.
You see, we're really going to have this conversation here because I'm in two minds about this, where I feel like there's some dressing that I see that I think completely inappropriate. Oh yeah. Why on earth? Yeah. But there's other dressing that I don't. You see, so I guess there's the I don't know if it's the Christian thing, but there are things there are dresses that I wear. Like, so for example, with a little bit of cleavage. Yeah. Depending on where it is I'm going to, obviously like that day I was in church, so I wouldn't have worn it without a camisole anyway. I was blaming you, but I probably wouldn't have. But if I wasn't going to church, I probably would have.
Are you a chameleon? Why should you be?
Very good question, and I asked them that in church. I said, you people have made me a hypocrite because when I come to church dress how I would dress outside, you complain. So yes, to answer your question, I am a chameleon in certain things. It's certainly my clothing in church. I am.
No, but you should. If you feel that you can wear it to church now.
Then they bring me scarf. I did. I used to now. You probably weren't there at the beginning of this thing. I mean, Larry Richard was very much in this thing because I was like, what? So yeah, I think, but there are other things playing in there. Like we've always said, this thing, light skin, there are different things that play into that. I think you need to dress
appropriately.
No, it's not even appropriate because what's appropriate for you is appropriate for me. But you need to dress to your body. You need to know what suits your body.
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with, I mean, I can wear, like you said, there's certain tops that I can wear and get away with because I don't have a lot of cleavage. But somebody that is much more, endowed.
Should.
If they wore that same top, it would look indecent on them, where it would look perfectly fine on me.
Mm.
So, but then the issue now then comes down to what is indecent, what is not indecent, whether or not they will consider that to be indecent or not. Do you understand what I mean? Who sets the standard? Now, obviously, if we're now talking Christianity, we can say the Bible set the standard. But if we're talking the world, then who sets the standard?
But I think even if we're talking about the world, I think there's still a lot of. I don't have to be a Christian to see. I mean, there's some things I see, and I think this is not decent. When I can almost see your nipples out. I mean, I think that's not.
Yeah,
decent.
I think yes. So I think there is a standard, but it's very interesting because there was. It was a couple of years ago when I went shopping. I don't do a lot of shopping, but I realized that what is on sale in the shop.
Yeah, we're talking
you
about
can't
that.
even find something decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you try and work with what's, unless you are paying a huge amount of money or you are having it made for you. A lot of the stuff that is on, it's a bit better now, I think, but in those, it was like.
I'm not sure if it's better because you see a lot of things that are cut out, cut back, side, everything is cut out now.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's
difficult to find good clothes.
But I think the thing that I would say out of this is because I feel like as adults, we know and we see with adult eyes.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, both of us have older children-ish, but sometimes we use our adult eyes to look at a children's situation and we're being unfair so for example, let me give an example. I grew up wearing shorts and a t-shirt, sometimes half, but shorts and t-shirts. Grew up in a hot country, it was the standard. There was nothing indecent about it. That's what we wore. Yeah. But we see somebody wearing that now and we're like, because we're adults and we are looking at what we think an adult man might be looking. We're using adult eyes to hold
the way society is.
No, I know, and I think we have to a certain extent, but I think sometimes we go a bit over the top with it because we have foresight.
Yeah.
Hindsight. Because we have hindsight, we go a bit over the top, and sometimes I just think it's unfair. You have to explain to your daughters that this could be seen like this or this could be, but you can't just be. But I have to say that what some of the girls wear these days, I'm like, but then when I think back to how I dressed as a not 18-year-old, maybe 16-year-old, 15-year-old, because at that point in time, I certainly wasn't thinking anything from a sexual point of view in this. I was just comfort. You know what I mean? So when I look now at those, I'm thinking actually those dresses were probably. They were fitted, they were, you know what I mean, and I had a nice figure, but they weren't indecent, but you know what I mean, if you had some older lecturers so and so, they probably would have.
I think when I was younger, 16, I know I used to wear, I'm sure I wore shorts, and I think probably I was going to say the worst thing I ever was wearing, what do you call it, backless?
Okay, backless, yes.
Those kind of things, yeah. So
you know what I mean, so when you think about that, if we see that now, I think a lot of the time we're like, because we're older. But at that age, it's I know the world has changed completely, and I know that not everything is as innocent as it was when we were that age. But I do think that sometimes we use our adult eyes to judge situations that we have and we then put the idea into the child that they didn't even have in the first place because we're so busy, And sometimes
I think it was what's her name, Ife, that said the other day when she came on Hangout.
I had to watch that. I haven't watched that. It was really good.
Yeah, it was good. I'm trying to remember what she said about dressing. That when she says, I think she said something like when she sees another person dressed a certain way, she doesn't think, oh, this is indecent or this is. She's just saying, oh, nice dress.
Yeah.
So I hope I'm not misquoting her, but I think it was something along those lines.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I think that it's like, I don't know if you saw the one I did. I did an unzipped, Zaza unzipped with Lola Adedoyin, talking about this dressing, and I was like, it's nobody's business. As a grown adult woman, if I go out dressed in my bikini, it's not your business. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's nobody's business.
I'll tell you,
no, of course you will tell me because you're my friend. But what I mean is, it's not really your business. As in, it's not your place. As a grown up, it's different if I'm a 21. No, even 21 is too old. But if I'm a younger person in your care, fine. Yeah. But as a grown adult woman with no problems, as in everything functioning okay. If I decide to go out like that, then you might be like, I don't think that's a great idea, but really, do you get what I mean? And I think that that's the challenge. And what I was saying on that thing is that why do we allow people to tell us how we should present ourselves? That really, if I left my house looking like this, if I spoke about you that day, but I didn't mention your name, well, I said that, remember there was one party I went to and I didn't get up because I said to you that my cleavage, and you came over to meet me.
Yes.
And then you said, it's not that bad. But because of the reception I had received when I arrived from a gentleman, I was I was like, oh my God, I'm so self-conscious. My breasts are obviously everywhere, which they weren't. But the way I was received had made me think that. But then I was now like, who is he? As in, like, how do you even get off talking to a married woman? I mean, I don't even agree with this thing, with any woman, but let's even to bring in, because that's what the Nigerians will say, she's a married woman. My husband was okay with me dressed like that. And then you are coming to tell me, do you understand what I'm saying? So I think there's an element of, we need to stay out of, you know what I mean? If you have nothing nice to say, if you don't like it, if you're close enough to the person, you can now tell me later, okay, that dress was a bit, or I thought, so you can't even tell me that. You say, I thought, because your opinion. Do you know what I mean? But to now tell me at the party, look at your breasts.
Yes, that's another thing. If you go back to etiquette, if you do that, you're going to make the person feel so uncomfortable throughout that event.
I didn't get up now. You saw me. I did not get up. I didn't dance. I didn't do anything. Everybody was like, if I couldn't even go to her table to greet her, I just sent her a message. I said, I'm here. I should come, because I was so uncomfortable. And I knew that I had left home and I was okay with it. And I felt okay. But the way I was received, I just thought, wow, But I think that there's now that cannot happen again. But I think there's an element of us almost taking, obviously, here I am, a grown woman, feeling like that. Imagine if you had said it to a 22-year-old. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And it took me everything to come out and be like, okay, I will stand up and I will, but I really didn't do much at that party because I was like, so I feel like it's, I guess now I would say, well, my husband likes it, so just leave it, whatever. But I also, that annoys me because I don't feel like, why should it be because my husband likes it? I like it. And I'm a fully grown woman. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, and I don't know.
Okay, now that we've just talked about this, it reminded me of labels that people put on us.
Labels. You see, because they don't come with a label. Yeah. I always say that in that thing, that's something I do for parenting. Children don't come with a label that tells you how to raise them. However, it is not our responsibility to label them, because I think, you can label the behavior, but not the person. We tend to say things like, oh, you're stupid. Instead of saying, that was a stupid thing you did. Yes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, please tell them the difference. There's a difference.
You know what I mean? So you label the activity, not the person. So you can say whatever. I don't know, like, I would never say that somebody is rude. I'll say that was a rude thing to say. Do you understand? Because it's like me saying that because I can say basically because you make a mistake, right? So you make a mistake. I can't now turn around and say, she can't do it because she made one mistake. It's like by labeling, you have you have generalized their life one thing that they did. Yeah. You wouldn't like it if, I don't know, one day you wrote a 5 instead of a 6, and suddenly they say that, that's it, you're stupid. Because you just made a mistake. So you can't, I feel like what we do, and especially as parents, which is why it's under the parenting thing that I did it, I think we do it in general, but as parents, it starts from young. Look at you, you're fat. Look at you, you're stupid. Yes. Are you slow? You can't talk. We don't talk about the, you know what I mean? It's like, if the child is fat, it's your fault. Are you not the parents? But no, but do you understand what I mean? It's like we will label them as something they've done. You can't do that, because once you label them with that. So let me even give an example. And mine is even a goodish example, I feel. From growing up young, people will always say, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're cute. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're chubby. I was always the beautiful, cute, So I grew up thinking, people always say I'm beautiful. People always say I'm cute. So first of all, I didn't even believe it, because it's like, that's what it is. It's almost like somebody gave them a script to say that. Yeah. But then secondly, I didn't think I was intelligent. I hit 30 before I realized that I was, yes. But not because so when with my daughters, I was very careful to say, you're so beautiful and you're very intelligent. Because what they did was they took a physical thing, which made, and it was something that I couldn't see. So I didn't see my beauty. So in them saying it,
that thing is so true.
I didn't know if it was real or not. You know what I mean? But it was always, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so cute, oh, pretty, you are the pretty one, It was all of that. So I got all so positive, a very positive affirmation, but it made me think, I look good, but clearly I'm stupid because I can't, you know what I mean? And I was doing okay in school. If I was doing very well in school. So it wasn't, I knew, but you can study and pass. So I knew how to, but I still didn't think I was intelligent. I didn't think I knew how to have, intelligence is very different Intelligence is very different from being hot, as we called it. But what do they call it? from academically, and like being able to learn something. And so I never, for years, I never thought of myself. The first person that said to me I was intelligent, I spent like 3 weeks going over. She said I was intelligent. What does she mean by that? And I went back to her and I said, "What do you mean by intelligent?" She said, "But you're one of the most intelligent people I've ever." She is very intelligent as well. She said, "You're one of the most intelligent people I've ever." Your conversation, the way you take. So I was like, okay, I went back intelligent. I mean, I was nearly 30.
Wow.
Do you get it?
No, but I understand that because I remember once someone was made, I don't know whether it was a tribute or feedback or something, got up, it was an event, and this person got up and said, "Oh gosh, one thing I like about her is that she dresses well, she's very beautiful, she's this." And in my mind, I was upset. Because I thought, that's all you know about superficial. It's all superficial. I was actually so upset that day. And I thought, so all the other things that I do, you didn't see that.
No, because your clothes are too much for your beauty. No, but you see, but that's also but it's also maybe a bit of you look at what you see and so there's nothing wrong in seeing that somebody is beautiful and saying that they're beautiful. But you see, and that's why I like, when I did this Rock Your Own Gorgeous, the reason I used the word gorgeous as opposed to beautiful is because I felt like beautiful, a lot of people will look at it as an outside thing, even though I know people are beautiful inside. Yeah. But I didn't want to use the word beautiful because I thought,
and we use it.
People will probably just think of it as external, and I wanted it to be much more, to be the whole thing. But I think that generally people look at the external, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to go beyond that. And if you can't, I don't feel, and this is one of the things that I say in parenting is you have to do descriptive praise. You know what that means? It's okay. So if it's an example of exactly what you said. So if you went up and you gave a talk, and one person said to you, "Oh, well done," right? The next person said to you, "You look so good up there. You actually belong up there." And then the third person said to you, "Wow, I learned so much from what you said." Which one is more, do you prefer?
I think the last one.
Exactly, because it's descriptive. It's talking about what you did, not about what you look like, which is what the second one was. And the first one was nothing. Yeah. Now, obviously, if you say well done, it's better than nothing.
Yes.
But what you want to be doing is saying, I like what you said really impacted me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, for example, your child is drawing. Instead of saying well done, you're like, "Oh, I like the colors you chose." That's descriptive praise. Yes. You are telling them something they can work with. And okay, these colors work. Do you get what I mean? And I think that's one of the things that we tend not to do. And our default is, "You're beautiful." When someone says to me, "I'm beautiful," I say, "Why?" How? Describe to me so that I can understand.
I think that's probably because we're lazy.
We're lazy.
We don't want to take time to actually.
Yeah, because you have to think about it.
You have to think about it.
But I think also, we're not used to it because generally we'll say, "Well done." That is considered like a good, well done is like, I hate that thing. It's like, well done, what does that mean?
And I said well done to you on the other day.
Yeah, no, but I knew, but it's slightly different because I knew you knew exactly what I'd done. Do you know what I mean? Okay. So it was like, but it's like when people, So I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like I said, it's a good place to start. But I feel like we can be a lot more, especially
well
if we're
done
trying to
for putting in that effort.
Yeah, exactly. You just add, qualify it a little bit. Yeah. Qualify it a bit. If you've had the conversation for, that's why I said you knew exactly what I'd done when you said well done. So if we had knew exactly what I'd done when you said well done. So if we had the call, you say you have done this, you've done, and then I say well done, then it works because you know that I'm talking about what you've just told me about. But if I just randomly I please say well done if you have nothing else to say. But we can be a bit better.
Yeah, well done is you're being kind when you say well done.
But I think that a lot of the time that labeling, coming back to the labeling, is
I love what you said about descriptive praise. That's really good one, especially for children.
No, it's 100% because it makes such a difference. Such a difference because you give them something to work with. So they now know what it is that they have done well or that you're happy with, and then they continue on that line.
Absolutely.
Rather than they're trying to guess what makes mommy happy or what, so I think it's a cool one. So yes, label. So don't label people. You can label things they do, but don't label the person. It's not nice.
You label teens. You label
yeah, exactly.
Objects.
You label objects.
Not people.
Not people. Yes. Yeah, we don't.
Okay, so what else have you got on your list?
I don't have anything else on my list. What time is it? Hey! Oh, what time did you start? Let me see how long we've been doing it for. I'll tell you how long we've been on for. Before we run over, and then we're now trying to edit. 50 minutes. So we have 10 minutes maximum left. What do you want us to discuss?
Let's see. What else? Now when we finish, we'll now
What's
start.
that?
Oh, we should have said this. Oh, we should have said that.
Okay, so let me think. One of the things that I think is really important. I'm going to get a bit skinny here. You know, I think we've had this. There's no conversation I want to do with this woman about you can only change yourself.
Yes.
So you know how you have people that are upset about a situation or about, and I always say to them, I'm like, I don't care what the situation is. I care what your response. So there was a couple I was talking to, and I remember the girl was saying, but he this. I said, I don't care what he did. What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's back to the offense thing as well. So we're so busy saying, but he did this, he did that, she did that. If she hadn't done this, I wouldn't have. So it's that whole thing of where we're reacting.
You're not responsible for another person's behavior. You're responsible for your own behavior.
Exactly. And we need to take responsibility, because I think so many of us, because of another person's behavior, don't take responsibility for our own behavior. So that thing of two wrongs don't make it right. So I'm always saying that thing, because they say, oh, because I don't care. I don't care. What are you going to do about it? Like, the only person you can control, the only person you can change is yourself.
Yeah.
And if you want change to happen to the other person, it will probably happen because you have changed. Absolutely. And also because you're praying.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But I think, especially in the husband-wife relationship, I find that a lot of the younger wives that I talk to, well, not even wives, couples that I talk to, is always like, blame. There's too much me in the relationship. I'm like, come on now.
So good. Talking about younger couples, I think what I've found is there's too much no tolerance. It's like, please, I can't do this. And I don't know, it's maybe we're old, maybe it's a younger generation.
Do you know what I think it is? But I think it's the generation that they grew up with microwaves. They grew up with everything is like this. It's like this. But if it's not working in a matter of minutes, then they're not. Yeah, they're not. Yeah. They've not. I remember saying with my one of my children excelled at everything, and I remember saying to my husband one day, I said, "This boy needs to fail before he leaves the house. We need to set him up for failure, because he's going to go out here thinking that, you know what I mean." Yeah. And it's not because I wanted him to fail, but I needed him to recover from failure in a safe spot. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So that it's not like when he fails, he suddenly thinks he's going to commit suicide or something, because he's never failed before. And that's the truth of many people. They've never failed. So when they fail, it's like the whole world their whole world comes crashing down, because all they know is success. And that's, again, back to the labeling. That's what they have been told. Yes. So it's like, so there's something about, and like, again, you have to find the balance, because there's something about calling into being what is not there and saying you are very intelligent and you know what I mean, and giving them that thing to stand on. But you have to balance it with real life as well, so that yes, you are very intelligent, and the fact that you failed here doesn't mean that you're less intelligent, because we think when they tell us that we're intelligent, that means we can't do any wrong. Yes. And it's that thing of having a safe space where people are okay to, you're human. You can fail, and that's fine. It doesn't take away from who you are. And that's why that labeling thing is very...
talking about children failing and all of that, I remember just before the pandemic, I was having a conversation with a young lady who had just finished uni. And she said that a lot of children, and maybe this for someone whose child is going to uni, she said that they struggle when they get to uni because they've always had things done for them by their parents. So for the first time, they're having to do their laundry. They're having to cook for themselves, No one's having to wake them up. They have to wake up, And so we, as parents, we really... Look, we have... I think, when did we go back to uni?
Please, can I just even step in here? Yes. As you have no business, age appropriate. Even at age 5, your child should be taking his laundry to the washing. Even if they're not washing, they will be putting it in the washing machine. You need to find out what is age appropriate for the child to be doing at that age. We cannot, this one. And I'm sorry, you've set me off now. Yeah. Can I just say, because what you are then doing is you are raising men and women who are going to be a liability to their spouses. Yes. Because I don't want to I don't want my daughters to marry a man who cannot do anything. Absolutely. I don't want my sons to I want my daughters to be eligible chicks, and I want my sons to be eligible blokes. That that it's not just because of how they look or how intelligent they are, but because of what they're bringing to the table, because they're kind, because they can help around the house, because they can. We need to stop raising our children. mollycoddling, and then they will say, oh, when they get out of the house, they will learn. No, but that's unfair on the person that who is supposed to teach them. That's your job.
Please,
that's what you are the parent. They didn't beg to be your child. You had them. You sorry, I can't finish ranting. You had them. You now need to make sure that you are raising them accordingly. Because you are raising adults. I've said this before. You're raising adults. You're not raising children. So you need to think. And not only are you raising adults, you're raising adults that will contribute to society and will be of benefit to the society. I don't want my child to be somebody that is of no benefit. Liability to anybody, not even the government. Please raise them accordingly. From whatever age they are, there's something they can be doing that is helping them to be a better person. There's some things they will not be able to do. And I'm talking about children that have no challenges. Obviously, if you have a child that has certain challenges, then you have to. That's a different conversation. But for children that everything is okay, no, they need to be participating and washing up. Their plastic plates, they can wash up from when they are. Whatever, they need to be involved. So that
shows with you.
Sure.
No. Say that. Another thing. Especially because a lot of children come from abroad, from Nigeria to school here, and they have to stay with guardians. Please, Nigerians. Here, we don't. In this day abroad, we don't have receipt. We don't have house help.
We don't have house help.
We do everything by ourselves. I remember a friend of mine told me about her husband's niece that came to stay with them, 16-year-old, going to for A-levels, and. The first day she woke up and said, "Oh, what are you going to have breakfast? Blah blah blah." So she brought out all the stuff and left it. She said about 1 hour later, she went to the girl to say, "Aren't you going to make breakfast?" She said, "Oh, I thought you were making breakfast for me." So she had to sit her down to say, "I don't make breakfast." You will learn how to make breakfast, So it's not just breakfast, cleaning up after themselves. You have to teach them those things before you send them to live with people. It's different that, they're not a liability. I mean, everybody here, we just do things back for ourselves. We don't have any help.
But apart from that, even if we had help, you need to raise them to be.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate that when you have help, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
But I feel
I feel personally that a lot of people with the wealthier people, certainly in Nigeria, I feel that they've done their children a disservice because I don't feel they've given them the skills they need for real life.
Yes.
And that's because they have all these, house girls and all these things that help them, which is great, and it's great that you can have it. But I do.
But
feel
when we were growing up, we had all those.
Yeah, but you called them auntie, and you behaved.
In fact, I remember once my dad said to me, I think it was something I wanted not my dad, my mom, to wash up. She said, "No, it's my house. She's my house, not yours. Go and wash the thing yourself."
Yeah, but you see, she had it right. But I don't think a lot of parents are like that, and maybe it's because they're out at work and they're distracted, so they're not paying too much attention. But maybe. I definitely think that we are doing a disservice to our children by now. And I was even saying this to Wally the other day because my firstborn cooked perfectly until his younger sister, started cooking. Then he stopped, and which I didn't think anything about it. But then later, I now thought, because of the male and female, I hope he doesn't think that it's women that's supposed to look at it, because I just thought, well, he's had his turn, he's done his cooking, and now she's learning. But I suddenly, and she loved it, so she would be like, no, I'll do it. But I suddenly realized that he'll be like, hey, are you cooking then? It now became almost like well, she's doing the cooking. I thought, no. Because we want to, but it is very hard, because I feel like, and I've said this before on Chez Zasaa, the society is such that there is almost like, the way we say that in the fabric of Nigerian society is corruption. The way we say that in the fabric of British society is racism.
Yeah.
In the fabric of world society is misogyny. Male, whatever. Men are better. So there's a certain thing that is, without even knowing, is fueling that in every, and you have to, as a mother, certainly me as a mother of boys, I have to fight it all the time. That no.
My boy can cook. My boy can clean up. In fact, sometimes his own is OTT, just like me.
Yeah,
but no, seriously, we need to raise them
up. Because I don't, I want that when my daughter marries a man, if she marries a Nigerian man, that, I'm not saying I believe in the roles, I believe in all of that, but not a man that can do nothing, no. And same thing, I want my daughter to be able, when my son marries a woman can, so it's both ways. But the reason I'm putting the emphasis on men is because we in our culture tend to
It's the women that.
That's what it was. That was the title. Sorry, did I slap you?
Yes,
when I said that we raise our daughters to be wives and we raise our sons to be kings. That was the title.
Okay.
Where I said where we have a tendency, I think, this is my opinion, a lot of people have disagreed with me, but I think that certainly in the Yoruba culture, there's a tendency to raise our girls to be good wives. So all of our girls know how to cook, to clean, to be the perfect wife.
I don't think it's just Yoruba culture.
Okay, maybe not.
Because I know there's another tribe where they actually train the women to be, you have to know how to cook, even how you satisfy. That's what I was looking at.
Okay, so yes, so basically we train them to be good in the bedroom, the kitchen, and the whatever. Yeah. So, but I think we do that with, but we don't do that with our men.
We don't do that.
We don't do that with our men. With our men, we just serve them.
Yeah.
So I think that and you know what? Kai, we're running out of time. I have so much to say on this topic. You know what? In the end, Funke, women raise men. In the end, so we are the ones that are complaining that this man is like this. Why is my husband like this? A woman raised him.
Yes.
Are we raising our sons like that?
That's true.
And I really feel like we have to remember that, because we're so quick to say, we have to make the changes. If we don't make the changes, because in the end, as far as I'm concerned, women are the most powerful. Anyway, we have the key.
Yes,
The problem is we're not owning our power. So we have so much more influence, so much more, but because of the way society is and everything, we tend not to own our power. We are raising the men. So if we have any problem with any man, it is because of our kinfolk. Yes. We're the problem. We're the ones that have raised them wrong. So challenge to you, mothers of boys.
So please, especially for those going to uni, please, if you have a few months to train them, show them how to do laundry, how to cook, make basic dishes, and let them set their alarms and start waking up. And I even know someone who her son and daughter, they're working. She'll still get up in the morning to take them to the station. When the station is less than 10 minutes walk.
You know what? I've realized this with some mothers where, it's another conversation. So you know how when we become mothers, or not even mothers, wives, there's a tendency for women to lose themselves. We take on so many different roles, we lose ourselves. Yes. And what tends to happen, I've noticed, is that a lot of women, especially the ones that haven't stayed in touch with themselves, they've given all to mothering. So there's nothing left for them. You know what I mean? So even though the child is 27, 28, and they're still that's all because that's who they are. That's who they've now created.
It's going to be a problem when the kids leave home.
Yes, there'll be the interfering mother-in-law. That's the point I'm making. So I think that, and this is easier said than done, but I think that as women, we have to actively hold on to who we are. Yes. We know that parenting is for a season. This is the season. After that, because in the end, you are Tinuke. Before you became Wali's wife, before you became Toyo's mom, before you became Funke's friend, before you became whatever, you were Tinuke. You're a person in yourself, and I think that is something that I don't know why, but it's so true of women because we take. I don't see men losing themselves when they take on role of husband. But anyway, as women,
do men actually.
Yeah. So I don't know why that is. But I think with women, we tend to lose ourselves, and that's why you see this situation where they're still doing things for their children that they have no business doing, because really by the time
they come back, you've cooked for them. So I'm like, what are the kids going to do?
And that's the child that's going to marry somebody and be expecting the same thing from his spouse or her spouse. So I think as women, I mean, I know there's some men on Hangout Café and on Chez Zasaa, but as women, we raise men, and I think that we have to start thinking about how we're raising our men and what type of men we want to raise. Because
we don't want our sons or daughters to marry people that will become
liability. That will be doing fasting and prayer for.
Yes, and be doing night vigil.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, I say all that. I know it's not easy, but I think I feel like women, we do have the strength, we have the capacity. God has given us a capacity that the men don't have. So as scary as it is, we can do it. So yeah.
And then you got the support of your sisters.
Support system. 100%. Yes. I don't know why we try to do things alone. Support system.
Some people don't know how to ask for help.
I don't even think I know how to ask for help. I've kind of had to learn. You have to learn to ask. And a lot of people don't know how to ask for help. But even just amongst your inner caucus, your friends, you should be able to, one day, please, can you babysit for me? I mean, you need a support system. There's no price for doing it on your own. There's no price. And at the end, you'll be worn out and you won't enjoy life. There's no point. So I think, Yeah, support systems are so
It's
key.
key.
And I always say that because I know when I first had, I don't know that I actively went looking for a support system. When I first had my son, his friends that became his
Yes.
friends. So then
Yeah.
the mothers became friends, and then we became a support system for each other. Where all of them, the boys, they all spend the night at this one's house, or okay, this one, we took it in
Well, you can't
turns.
pick
We're
up the kids,
babysitting.
somebody
Yeah,
will,
it was always so the pressure is not there. So we created a support system that and I think it's so key. And
very important.
befriend people. Can I just say
Yeah.
that? Because I think as I was saying that, I remember a friend of mine saying, but she's not friends with them. Befriend them. You have to be a
make
friend
an effort
to have friends.
Yeah.
Please befriend them.
Yeah.
Then you will have them. What do you think? Should we stop? Have we given them too much? We might have to do this again. Let me see. This is what? What is my timer? 1 hour and 6 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I know you guys don't want us to go.
We'll be back.
I think we will be back.
What you can do actually, let us know what topic you like us to.
Yeah, what would you like us to talk about? Chez Zasaa and Hangout Cafe to open some things. I hope I won't have a rant next time. Maybe you can have a rant.
Do not start to note things down now. Anytime we have this conversation.
Because we're talking all the time. I was trying to go through our WhatsApp to see what conversations we had. We'll come better prepared next time. But anyway, hopefully you have enjoyed this. So I'm going to say my bye-byes. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Hangout Cafe. What's your YouTube?
Hangout on this YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Hangout the cafe.
Hangout the cafe. Mine, Chez Zasaa. Please go and follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. As Funke keeps saying, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe.
Please.
Just subscribe, please. Just subscribe. And if you're bold enough and you want to know when we put something out there, then you can click on the bell.
Yes,
the bell. And then you'll get a notification. But you don't have to do that. Just subscribe. We're just asking to subscribe. That's it.
Support your sisters.
Support your sisters. And on Instagram, you are
Hangout _ the cafe. And
Chez Zasaa. So
also you can follow our individual, personal
yes.
accounts on Instagram.
Tinuke Ak.
Oluwadiaga.
Yay! So until next time, rock your own gorgeous.
Until next time, we'll hang out with you.